In the aftermath of the 2024 election, America is even more divided than before. Half the country fears the end of democracy, and the other half welcomes it. As America inches toward the brink of authoritarian rule, now more than ever, we must force ourselves to have the necessary conversation. Welcome to the Necessary Conversation. Today's a very special episode. Not only are my mom and dad deep in the QAnon MAGA hole with us, not only is my sister, fellow lefty, with us, we have a very special guest. Parker Get a Job is here to debate my parents.
But
Thanks for joining us, Parker.
Good to see y'all.
There's
Good
no
to see y'all.
debate.
okay.
He's the loser
Okay.
Wait, why,
Oh
why am
my
I a
God.
loser?
What?
because you're not MAGA. That makes you a loser.
Okay.
Okay. Why do you think that we have to be MAGA?
Well, because if you're not MAGA, the odds that you live in your mom's basement and you're 25 years old is pretty good.
Well, I live in my own apartment that I pay for myself.
Yeah,
And I
there's
run
one
my own
of you.
business that's successful. What do you have to
That
say about that?
doesn't make you part of the 70% that don't live alone.
Also, Chad and I are also successful liberal commies.
Thanks to your dad.
Gosh,
okay.
I wish-
I forgot that you were there when I fucking opened and
All right.
operated my
Oh,
bakery.
wait.
but
Okay, this shit is getting off to a
Wait a
crazy
minute.
start already. Let's start the show properly. Mom, do you have any ditties, any topics you want to discuss here?
Gosh, I mean, this threw me for a loop. I didn't know we were going to have a guest.
Don't we have
I'm very
Again,
happy,
it was
though.
in
Don't we
the
have
email.
a caller?
Not,
What?
please, let Chad.
No caller today?
Mom
Yes,
does
we
the
have a
ditties
question,
first.
but Mom does her things first. This is episode 144. You should be used to this by now.
Okay,
Mom.
I'm happy that we do have a guest, but I didn't read the email that
He's not
I
a
didn't.
guest. He's a competitor.
He's a
He's a
guest.
guest.
Oh my
Yes.
God!
Please
Just
be nice, please. Okay,
Mom.
happy
I'm
Valentine's.
being nice.
Happy Valentine's Day.
That was nice.
Dad and I are kind of behind everybody in this. We got an air fryer. Do you guys have air fryers?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we love it. I have done steaks, chicken,
Okay.
let's see, shrimp, French fries. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kind of behind the curve here, but we love our air fryer. We got it for Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Melania got a 7-series episode with Netflix after her documentary that was exploding success. She got 7 series
A
from
7
Netflix.
episode series.
Yeah, that's some money there. Okay.
But you understand why that's happening, right?
Because
People are just
her
kissing Donald
documentary-
Trump's ass to get favorable treatment, preferential treatment, especially where broadcasting is concerned.
Oh, that's what you believe. I believe she got it because that documentary was really good.
All right.
Oh yeah, Navy.
I need to talk about this real quick. Somebody asks me about this all the time. I get a bunch of emails. Got this at Little Mike's Hamburgers in Oklahoma City. He's on Facebook. He's also online. You can get his merch online.
Okay.
Do I need to give his
And everybody in his store is MAGA,
Yeah.
which is more than 20%. What's my buddy's name?
Who?
You know,
Parker.
cowboy hat.
What are you talking about? Hassan Piker?
Cowboy
Mr.
hat?
Piker.
Hassan?
That my dad has this big styrofoam MAGA cowboy hat that Hassan Piker sent to him. So yeah, there he's gonna wear it now. Okay.
Oh my gosh, Hassan
Please
sent
be
it to him.
nice
I didn't even. I
today,
thought that
Rob.
was just a separate one.
No, he sent it to him.
So you're like
Please.
ultra MAGA. You're like
Yeah.
big cowboy hat. Have you worn that in public yet?
Yes.
What?
Okay.
No.
When
He's
does
worn
Dad
it
even go
twice.
in public?
He's worn it twice when we went to Walmart.
Okay.
Okay.
Mom, are
There
your
you
ditties
are.
done here?
I've got one more little thing, and then that's
Okay.
about it. And then we can
And all I
start.
got is pats on the back.
Since we have a
Okay.
guest, I won't go on and on. But one more thing, and it's sad. And it's still serious. Day 15 in the search of Nancy Guthrie. It's terrible. No arrest, no proof of life. It's going on, and it's terrible. And something that stuck in my mind. You know how you have all the FBI guys on TikTok, on Instagram saying, I believe this,
Yeah.
I believe that. One thing stuck in my mind when I listened to one of these guys.
Yeah.
He said, ransoms are never for old people. You know, they pick young people. They pick the kids.
Okay.
They pick that when they want ransom. So this, I don't know. It's sad.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
very
still-
sad
I'm
story.
still
I
praying
agree.
for
It's
her and her
scary.
family.
I hope that they get her back. We all do. I think that's
Yeah,
a
it's
bipartisan issue.
They
at this
ain't
point.
getting her back.
Okay.
Maybe it's
That's
not.
my ditty.
Okay.
That's my ditty.
Okay, here's our listener question. If you'd like to submit a question to us, just send it in a 1 minute or shorter video format to the necessaryconversationpod@gmail.com. This is our question for this week. Let me know if you guys can hear this. You should be able to.
Hey, Culchin family. My name is Gianna. I live in the Chicago area, and my dad is a Gen X. I'm a very, very young millennial. And we were having a conversation where he said, what a legacy for the boomers to leave.
Is it too low, or you just
Sowing all
can't hear
this
it?
hatred and division and
listen.
fear. So I was just wondering what you parents think about that, the legacy that the boomers are going to leave on the rest of the world. Thanks. Bye.
The question was, what do you think about the legacy that boomers are going to leave on the rest of the world, which is a legacy of fear, essentially? Do you think your generation is turning the world into a better place or a worse place? Parker, what generation are you? Are you Alpha?
I'm Gen Z.
Oh, Gen Z. Okay. So this is the first time we've ever had a Gen Z person on the show, I believe. So we have some conversation to have here about the difference in generations in terms of hope and what they're doing to the human population, or at least the American population. Mom and Dad, what do you think will be the legacy of your generation, the boomers?
We'll be the second greatest generation ever.
What was the first?
First World War
The
II.
greatest generation, as they're
Right.
known. Mom, what do you think?
How old is our guest? How old
I'm
is
23.
Parker? 23. Oh, you're young. You're a baby. You a baby.
That's like us debating Roman.
Yeah, you're a baby.
Roman
That's
is my
okay.
sister's son, who is 21 now.
One.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a baby. I think our generation, we're either going to save the United States or we're not. And I hope it goes down to we will be remembered as fighting like hell to save our country.
Okay.
Against communism,
Okay.
which we know you are.
Please,
Okay.
please.
What is communism?
Uh-oh.
What is communism?
You know what communism
No,
is.
he's asking you.
I'm asking
You
what
don't
you
know
mean when
what
you
it
use the
is?
term. I
You
know what
don't
it
know
is. I
what
know
it
how I
is?
use the term, but how are you using the term?
Communism is where the entire country is controlled by the people with all the money.
Okay.
And
well,
that's not us. That's not
my
us.
understanding of communism is a stateless, classless, and moneyless society. If there's no money in communism, how could they control all of the money?
There's money in communism. That's what it's
Really?
all about.
But let me also say, Dad, what you
Communism's
just
all
said,
about money.
Yes.
Dad, you also just said that you believe communism is a government where the people with the most money control everything, right?
That's right.
We currently
That's
have a
capitalism.
billionaire
Us.
president, and his entire enclave of
Our
supporters are the richest
billionaires
men in the
this
world.
country do not control the country. That is a fucking lie.
You saw Elon Musk in the first 6 months of Trump's presidency,
You're
literally
picking
standing in the Oval Office,
picking too
controlling
rich
everything.
people we got thousands of billionaires.
Okay.
Yeah, and do you agree that they have a disproportionate amount of control over our political systems?
No.
No? I mean, you can understand this even from your perspective. This isn't even like a left-wing sort of thing to understand. Even right-wingers understand that there are people who have inequitable amounts of power because of the level of wealth that they have, and because the Supreme Court understands that like a corporation, right, is seen as like a person, and that their money is speech. So in that sort of sense, it allows for corporations to influence the political sphere significantly more than the average person.
And you're
No.
seeing it in press. You're seeing it in all of our social media, all of our fucking news now.
We don't control it.
Everybody
Okay.
has one vote.
All right.
Okay.
Supposedly.
And
But-
you get to vote. You don't get to vote when you're in a communist country. They dictate who votes.
Do you think that
Okay.
we don't want people to vote?
What? The communism doesn't.
Well,
Hang
no, you
on
said
then.
that we're
You don't.
communists. So if we're communists, does that mean that we don't want people to vote?
That's right. You're a communist.
Okay, so I do want people to vote. I think all of us want people to vote. I mean, you're
I
the one
don't
who.
think you want.
Wait, do you
I
accept the
don't think
2020
you want
election results?
everybody to vote.
Do you
do
accept the
not
2020
want
election
everybody to
results?
vote. You only want people on the left to vote.
Well, according to the Save
No, I
America
want everyone
Act,
to vote.
Hang on,
Donald
Haley.
Trump doesn't
Yes,
want us to fucking vote.
this is a perfect segue to, I'll make this our first topic, the SAVE Act. This week, the House passed the
Hey,
Safeguard
what
American
happened
Voter.
to our caller?
We already
We
talked about
played
that.
it. You couldn't
Well,
hear
what
her.
we didn't hear anything
Dad
she said.
couldn't hear it.
Well,
Well-
my 2 cents is that boomers are ruining everything when we're all fucked. So it's
Oh,
going to be up
okay.
to my kids to save the fucking planet.
Okay. This week, the House passed the Safeguard American Voter
The
Eligibility
three
Act.
of you are all going to be happy that me and your mother stood up for MAGA in about 10 years.
Okay, let Chad talk.
This week, the House passed the Safeguard
No, look at
American
him
Voter.
shaking his head down there.
This week,
You
the House
haven't been
passed.
alive long enough to tell me anything.
This week, the House passed the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act on a party line vote, which proposed new federal election law designed to make it harder for people to vote. The bill requires proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote, mandates photo identification at the ballot box, requires states to share voter rolls and related data with federal agencies, and it requires a voter's name to match on their birth certificate and chosen form of ID. This presents a problem for anyone whose name has changed for any reason, like marriage, for example, mom. Haley. The bill now goes to the U.S. Senate, where no official vote date has been scheduled. About half of all American adults don't have passports or lack the funds to get one. This, combined with the name matching provision, guarantees that this bill is going to disproportionately affect
Can I ask
married
a
women,
question?
Let him
seniors
finish.
like you, Dad, low-income voters, rural voters, and trans voters. Trump said that whether this bill passes or not, the voter ID requirements in the bill are going to be in place for midterm elections, even if it has to be done by executive order. Dad, you just said communism is a state of government where the government doesn't want everyone to vote. Trump is now
No.
trying to make that happen.
That's not what I said.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Well, what we
What you
have in our
mean?
country is the right wingers want everybody to vote. The left wingers
don't.
do not.
Then why are they trying to pass this bill that will make it harder for many other people to vote?
We'll make them harder. You got to have a vote.
Are you listening to anything I'm saying when I read this
No.
shit? Okay.
No, because
No.
you're believing because they're minorities they can't get an ID card, and that's a top.
Not minorities. Your wife sitting right next to you, my mom and Haley, both of their last names no
Mom,
longer match their
Do
birth
you have a
certificates.
fucking passport? Do you
No,
have a
may-
passport?
no.
Do
May
you have a fucking driver's license? Then you're good to go.
May
No,
I
you're
break
not.
this down
That's
for
what
all
this-
of us? Can I break this down for us in simple words?
Yeah.
When you're born in the United States, you receive a birth certificate, correct? It has your name, your date of birth, and your parents' name and the place of birth. So on my birth certificate, I could pull it out right now of my billfold, and it has all of those documents on it. It also has my maiden name, not my married name. But then when you get married, what do you get? A marriage license. You file that paper with that document, your new name, your old name, in the county where you are married. Okay? Everybody should do that. Everybody does do that.
So
If your
Except-
name has been changed.
Except the left
If you
wingers.
change your name also in any way, divorce, death by spouse, whatever, all of that, you go to the Social Security office, and guess what? Guess what they require there? Your marriage license. You do not change your birth certificate ever. That stays with you your whole lifetime.
Okay.
With your name, the parent's name, where you were born.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes.
You're already like 3 documents deep in what you're going to have to provide in order to vote. Do you think
No,
that
no.
makes it...
One.
Hang on. Okay, hang on. Do you think that makes it easier or harder for people to vote? That you have to supply all of these documents that you never had to
supply
before?
that. Different states are different ways.
Okay.
So the only 2 documents you need are your birth certificate, if it's different, and your marriage license.
Uh-huh.
Those 2 connect through your whole lifetime. I've had them in my purse my
Can I
whole
tell you
you
how
don't
many
have-
times?
if
Can
you
I
don't
tell you
have
how
a
many
birth-
times I've had to produce those pieces of paper to vote? Fucking none.
All right.
Ever.
If you don't have a marriage license, I don't want you to vote.
You'll never
I don't
Whoa.
have one. I'm not
What?
married.
Wait, do you think I
You
should
have
be
a
able to
birth
vote?
certificate. You didn't listen to mom. You got to
Wait,
have
you-
one or the other. Do you have a birth certificate, Chad? If you don't,
Yes.
let me mail you one of the 50 of them I have on you.
Chad, it's that little green card that says
Yes.
where
Wait,
you were born. That little
we at least-
laminated green card.
I have it.
Haley, you've got one too.
Hang on.
That
Parker
never
has a question
changes.
here. Parker has
Yes,
a
go
question
ahead.
for you guys.
Yeah, can we at least acknowledge that this is going to restrict like millions of people from being able to vote from an overall standpoint? We might say like, oh, there are certain things we might be able to do this, but making it even harder to vote when people already right now seemingly aren't going to vote, given the level of implications that restrict people from,
Yeah, it's gonna
from
make
voting,
it-
just
yeah.
leads to millions of people voting to a lesser
Who
degree
would
than
that
would have otherwise voted.
Illegals.
Who would this restrict? I don't.
Actually, there's only like
Illegals.
there's only like 10 cases of undocumented immigrants trying to vote over like the past like 40 years. So I don't understand like this whole point of trying to restrict undocumented immigrants from voting when they wouldn't
Where
do
are
so
you
because it
getting
would
that
put them out,
information?
it would put them under threat of
PDF?
deportation.
Chad pulled it up last Sunday.
Yeah, we've
Oh.
given you the same stats. The stats, for what it's worth, Parker, do not affect them. you have
I
to
was like-
find some other way in.
No, one thing I would say is like why?
Now, wait
Like
a minute.
You make
let's
them
ask
up
like
as
kind of
you
why.
go along.
Why do you accept the certain statistics that you do?
Because I guess our life experience and we've lived through it, and I have
Yeah.
a marriage license and a birth certificate, and I've never been said you can't vote, lady. Never, ever, ever.
But
All I've had to,
imagine,
and I
So-
also have a voter registration card
So
that I
it
would
has
take
to
with me if
personally
needed.
affect you. But what you're not understanding is that 50% of the United States does not have a passport. Okay.
50%.
Lots of women get married,
Uh-huh.
and now they're going to have to produce a marriage license to vote, not just your license.
What's wrong with that? Do you not have a
Well,
marriage license,
you don't
Haley?
need-
Why should you
co-
have
you-
to do that?
Because
Well,
your
hold on,
name has
hold
changed.
on.
yes, Parker, Parker's
Actually,
raising his
hold up.
hand.
Are y'all
You're an
communists because you want to
ultra
restrict people from
lefty.
Let
voting?
him talk.
And you have
Are
a voter ID.
Okay.
Wait,
go
can I
ahead.
ask you a question? Are y'all communists because you want to restrict people from voting?
No.
But millions of
Everybody
people
that
will
is
be
a
restricted from
legal
voting because of
citizen
this.
should be able to
No.
vote.
And he defined communism as you wanted to restrict people from voting. So if you
No.
define it that way, then wouldn't that make
We
yourself a
want
communist?
all Americans who have the right documentation to
Be
vote.
able to vote.
We want no illegal to vote in any election in the United States of America.
Okay, but
And if you-
statistically,
and if you allow illegals to vote, you're a communist.
He's Googling.
this
right
has
now.
nothing to do with
That's me
with
writing notes so that I can be able to remember it.
This
so I don't
has
have to
nothing
think
to do with undocumented immigrants. We already gave you the statistic and how fucking
Oh,
little
bullshit.
it is. This has
Here's the
nothing to do with that. They want to suppress women. They
You
want to
guys get all
suppress
your news
minorities.
from
Be
ABC.
quiet. Different states also, if you don't have those, different states take different things. They'll
So
take a
you're
passport,
not
a driver's
acknowledging.
a driver's license,
You
a
are not
banking
acknowledging
ID.
that this is voter suppression.
You can get a
No,
you
I
can get a
don't think it
library
is.
ID card.
I don't want dead people voting. I don't want dead people voting, and you know that's happened.
Dead people
I don't want
aren't
one
voting.
person to go back and vote 5 times in a row, and I know
Chad
that's
gave you
happened.
the stats, and you always say, "I'll look into that." Did you fucking look into it? Because
Look
what
into
you're
what?
saying makes no sense. The statistics exist. Dead people and immigrants are not
Where
voting.
you get them?
Oh my goodness, I'll look it up right
All right,
now.
let's move on to our next topic. Pam Bondi's hearing. This week, Attorney General Pam Bondi appeared before the House Judiciary Committee where she was asked about the botched release of the Epstein files that failed to release over half the files, protected Epstein co-conspirators, and doxed Epstein victims. Can you please just listen? Mom and Dad.
I'm listening.
Parker,
Dad's
what are
not.
your parents like?
I want to say my mom's like she used to be super apolitical, and she's definitely more like politically involved now. She's more liberal. I actually got her to vote for Kamala Harris right before the
Oh,
election.
wow.
Nice.
Oh my
And
God.
my dad is still conservative. He's pretty conspiracy like minded as
Oh,
well.
shit.
So I understand the family dynamics there.
So you get it. Okay.
Glad you
I was-
understand.
I was just curious if this was like fucking.
Well, he
bonkers
said
for
all
you
I
or-
need to know. He voted for Kamala Harris. How smart is that?
Okay.
Wait, what's wrong with voting for Kamala Harris? I think she was clearly the preferable
She's
candidate.
the dumbest fucking thing next to a stump.
Okay, name one thing that she said that was dumb.
All of it.
Wheels on the
Name
bus
one
go
specific
round
thing.
and round. I like yellow school buses.
She
about
said
Donald
That's
a
not
lot
a
of
dumb thing
dumb
to say. That's actually like I like yellow
Donald
school buses.
Trump couldn't even fucking pronounce a word the
Yeah.
last time I saw him online.
Let's not
Yeah.
argue.
How about
Go
that?
on.
He
Trump
said
is weeks
windmills
away
were,
from
were
death.
killing whales in numbers never seen before.
I don't
He
even
said that we
think
should look into
Kamala
disinfectant
Harris
by
was,
injection to fight
um,
COVID-19. He
They're
looked up
eating
at an
dogs.
eclipse
They're
twice
She wasn't
eating
with his naked
dogs.
eye.
Yes.
She wasn't even elected to run or whatever. They just appointed her.
It ain't, wouldn't it take her 6 times to pass the bar?
They're eating dogs. They're eating cats.
That's what happens with the vice presidents, by the way. Like when the president steps down, the vice president steps up. She was voted in through the Biden-Harris ticket. 80% of the Democratic Party was satisfied with her being the nominee. So, like, I mean, I think that the Democrats were obviously in alignment with,
Now
like,
who's
Democratic
delusional?
norms in that
They
respect.
lost.
But you guys didn't accept the 2020 election results, like 70% of the Republican Party. So how could you guys point at us as the ones that are anti-democratic when your side actively tried to undermine the 2020 election?
2020 election was
It
stolen.
was stolen from us for sure.
What evidence do you have for that?
It's all out there.
You keep saying all of it and everything. You
It's
make these
all
weird
out
big
there.
blanket statements, but you can't actually say one concrete answer to
Let
any
me
of these
put
questions.
it to you this way: the
Aren't we-
20% of Americans who are out there are not our side; it's your side.
I'm waiting for
20
this.
what do you mean?
There are
20%
less of
of
you.
Americans.
There are
What are you
less.
talking
There are
about?
less of you than you think there are.
I'm waiting for the seized ballots in Georgia to see that little outcome there.
Parker,
Okay,
I have a
well,
question for you. Do you
mhm.
think the 2024 election was valid?
Absolutely. So one unique thing
Ah.
I would say here is that why did they have the ability to steal the election in 2020 when they weren't in office, when Trump was in office, but when the Democrats were in office, they lacked the ability to steal the election?
Because of those machines.
What machines?
The Dominican.
The Dominican, the Dominion voting machines. So those were proven to not have caused like a swing in the election.
They were
There were
proven
audits
to
on
what?
this. There were literally court cases, over 60 plus court cases that indicated no sufficient evidence to overturn the election. Many of them were Republican appointed judges and Trump appointed judges even.
Talks fast.
Hmm.
I can slow down for you if
I
you'd like.
believe Trump. I believe Trump.
Stop.
Why?
Be nice.
Why?
We have a guest.
Why do you believe Trump? I guess is my point. If all the evidence points against what Trump is saying, why do you believe Trump?
I believe that he wants our country to be the best it can be.
Sure, you
Because
could
he
believe that,
genuinely
but does he
cares
actually
about
show
what
that with
we
his
have
behavior?
left.
He said he would close the border. He's done it. Our border has been closed. He said he's going to take drug cartel out of here the best he can. He's doing that.
Kamala Harris
So how do you
let
feel
it
about the
all
fact that they
happen.
pardoned the ex-president of Honduras who literally trafficked over 400 tons of cocaine to our country and was
Yes,
convicted of
I
it?
did see that. I did see that. I don't like that.
See it?
I
We
don't
talked
say he
about
does
it.
everything I like. He doesn't do everything, but he does
How
a
about
lot
the
of things
Epstein
that I do
files? Do you
like.
like that? Do you like that he's in the Epstein files? Do you like that part?
More than any
about
other
him in
single
the
person.
Epstein files?
There's no conviction of
What's
him
it
in there
say?
doing anything.
His name's in the Epstein files more than God's name is in the Bible.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's okay with you?
And is there
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
any line in there where he has
What's it got to do with
been
the fucking Bible anyway?
Yes, there is
We're
testimony
Catholic.
that
We
he
don't
has.
read the Bible.
other
There
than the
is
tips,
testimony
Catholics
that
still
he
believe
has
in the Bible.
sexually assaulted people.
other than the tips hotline?
Oh,
The tips
fuck.
hotline, we know that's false. We know that's not for real.
The
Can I ask
Bible's
you
a storybook.
a question as well? Like, would you let
Here's
someone
what I'm-
legally enter the country if they were held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman?
I didn't hear what you said. You said it too fast.
Yeah, sorry. Would you let someone legally enter the country if they were held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman?
Would I allow someone into the
Yeah,
country?
if you had the ability to.
If I was the president? No.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's what I
so-
would do.
So
No,
you
hang on,
wouldn't
Mom.
let
Hang on.
them-
I was one
Mom,
of
there's
the
a second
women.
part of that. Hang on. Parker, please go ahead. Finish the second part of that.
So why do you put higher qualifications on who's allowed to legally immigrate to the country than who's allowed to become president of the United States?
We
Hello?
don't.
I
Yes,
don't
you
No,
see
do.
that.
Mom,
I
you
don't
just
even
said
see
you
that.
just said you would not let somebody into this country who
Right.
who has been found
That's right.
civilly liable for sexually assaulting a woman.
And
Donald Trump
is
has
not.
Well-
done that.
Yes, he has.
No, he
With
has.
So-
E. Jean
okay.
Carroll.
He
You
got railroaded by a bunch
You
of
didn't
fucking
say
lefties in
federal.
New York.
You said civil. I didn't hear the civil. Civil and federal is different.
So
Here's
you
what I would
wouldn't
like
care?
to say before you guys start yelling at us. Any of those women in the Epstein files that were abused, I hope each and every one of them get the best attorney they can get right now. They need to go through an attorney to get their file open, to get everything, all the men that did this to them, put in prison
Men that
and
did
rot
this to
in
them.
hell.
Okay,
Guess
well,
what?
let's
That's the only way this is
And
going
you
to
know,
happen.
and you know who probably is number one on the fucking list? Joe
Yeah.
Biden.
Joe Biden.
he's not
no.
in the Epstein
He's
files.
not on the Epstein files.
no.
So now let's get back
You'd
to
be
where we were
surprised.
going with our second topic
Either
about
him or
Pam
Obama.
Bondi. Okay, so at one point during Pam Bondi's hearing, she's asked if she would turn and apologize directly to the victims of the Epstein, who are in the Epstein files, victims of Epstein, who were present at the hearing. Bondi refused to even look at them and accused Democrats of political theater. Photographers at the hearing then got shots of documents Bondi brought with her that contained lawmakers' search histories who had reviewed the Epstein files, leading everybody to believe that the DOJ is actively surveilling members of Congress. Bondi was asked if anybody else is going to be charged based on the information in the Epstein files and why so much is still withheld and redacted. She ignored the question like most others. At some point, she started talking about the fucking stock market. Bondi's performance at the hearing made it clear to many that she's covering up for Trump and others who would be implicated in the Epstein files. Many are now demanding her resignation. Mom, why do you think Pam Bondi refused to answer Congress's questions about the Epstein files?
Okay, when she first I'll get to that in a minute. When she first started, she did
You're
say
Pam Bondiing me. Answer
she
the
was,
question.
she was deeply sorry for what any victim or victims had been through. She did. I was watching it. She did say this. She
Okay.
said, especially as a result of the monster. She also told them to come forward to law enforcement with any information
They've
and their
already done
abuse,
that.
and assured them that any accusation of criminal wrongdoing would be taken seriously and investigated.
Well, she's a
What
fucking
she
liar
would not
because they
do
already did
is
that.
what she would not do is when asked to turn around, that they were behind her. They had asked her, would you apologize, by the way, where is it at, that the Department of Justice handled the release of the files. That she would not do. And
Yeah.
that's
Pam
pretty
Bondi
shitty.
is a piece
I've
of
already
shit.
said, if she's not doing her job, get rid of her.
She's a piece of shit.
Why would I stand up for her?
All of those women came forward, wanted to talk to the DOJ, asked to be fucking heard, and they will not listen. They will
That's
not
what-
be heard. They
guess
won't
what?
listen to them.
They each, like I said, please, if they're listening, get an attorney, the best one you can find, and go
This is
after
all
them
just
that way.
posturing. She's just feeding you bullshit, and you're buying it.
That's the only way they're going
I'm
to be
sorry,
the
Parker.
monsters are gonna
Parker,
be
please
taken
jump
down.
in. Jump in.
You're good. No, I just don't want to cut off. So, like, why didn't they talk to any of the victims when they came out and literally have messaged the DOJ directly to have a meeting? None of them have got a response. All of them have been ignored. Why haven't they done that?
Was that from Pam Bondi or from who?
Yes, Pam Bondi.
They
Yes.
directly asked Pam Bondi this because all the victims were standing behind, the victims and survivors, and they explicitly asked them, how many of you have sent in a message to be able to get a meeting with
And
the
they all
DOJ?
raised-
All of them raised their hand.
Yeah.
And then how many of you have got a response? None of them.
How
And
many
essentially
times-
asked her directly if she would give them a response. And there seemingly was no certain statement that they were going to do so, and they haven't
Yeah.
followed up on that since.
Now, how many times do I have to say? I said it 3 weeks ago. I said it last Wednesday with you. I said it the Sunday before.
Mhm.
Get rid of her. Someone needs
Trump
to get rid
isn't.
of her.
Your
can
God is not getting rid of her. That's
so
the whole
can
point
you
of this.
see, like,
That's
how
right.
she may be covering up for Donald Trump?
Yes.
She's a piece of shit.
She's not doing the job right. She's not doing it for the victims. The
And
victims
she
need to
is-
be heard.
Correct. And she
Every
is
one of the
hiding
monsters-
information for your Lord and Savior,
Whether they are Democrats or Republicans, they need to rot in hell.
including
Okay, so-
Trump.
So if you do think that Pam Bondi is doing this, do you think that she's doing this at the request of Trump? Because Trump did go to, for example, Marjorie Taylor Greene and tried to get her to not release the Epstein files, and that's why he calls her Marjorie Trader Greene now.
Yeah, I've talked about this to Chad. I'm not sure it's Trump. I'm sure I'm thinking someone above Trump. And Chad goes, someone above
I'm sorry.
Trump. I'm thinking like international, like
So Trump is controlled. So someone's controlling
like-
Trump, like the same way that
yes,
you thought
She
people were
thinks
controlling
the
Biden.
Israeli
You sound
government
like
is
Piper
controlling
now.
Trump.
You sound like Hassan.
Oh, that's her view?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. If you think the Israeli government is controlling Trump, what prevents you from believing, like, for example, the Israeli government killed Charlie Kirk?
I do believe that. I already discussed that
Oh.
with Hassan Piker.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I
He's
must
like,
have missed that in the episode.
Oh,
I already
Okay, okay.
discussed that one.
Or Muslim communists.
Do you
Mr.
think Israel
Piker
caused
was pretty
9/11?
nice to us too.
Piker
Wait, do you think-
was-
do you think that
he's a
Israel caused
Muslim
9/11?
communist.
Okay. We like him.
Do you think that Israel caused 9/11?
That one, I don't know.
Okay, so, like, I guess my point is that if you can believe all of these things without sufficient evidence, what prevents you from believing something like that?
Because I've read more about those than anything else, I guess.
Okay, but, like, what specifically did you have to read in terms of evidence that would then establish it to be true?
I guess late at night when I read
Well,
different
you'd
things
have to
on
find
different sites.
you'd have to find some
Time
connection
of day.
between Saudi Arabia and Israel.
Nighttime
What
is
did
And
you
important.
I don't,
say,
think, I don't
Haley?
think it's there.
What did you say?
I've talked to flat
Haley?
earthers before. I've talked to flat earthers before who genuinely do believe the earth is flat and they've read into it. What prevents you from believing that?
What, that the earth is flat?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about
How about-
pictures?
You don't
from
know?
the
Like, it
moon?
should be evidence, right? It should be science. It should be reason,
sorry.
right?
You said pictures from the moon. So it's a picture you want? You have Donald Trump pictured with Epstein countless fucking times. What more do you want?
He also turned him
He's
in.
not
He
screwing
also
girls.
turned him in before all this shit went
See,
down.
that's
You
where you're
remember.
wrong. I wholeheartedly believe they have photos and video of him that are very implicating.
Yeah.
We haven't
I
seen
doubt
them
it.
because
Oh,
Pam Bondi
implicating.
is a piece of
Well,
fucking
let
shit.
me ask you. This is my
Okay.
next question.
You're
Mom-
a piece of fucking shit if you believe that.
Okay,
one,
we're
yeah.
not going to get into shit and garbage again
listen.
this time.
This is my next question on this. Why is Pam Bondi withholding 3 million, half of the Epstein files.
I thought we've all got them released now.
No. You had Todd Blanche coming out and saying, it's over, we released it, time to move on. But there's still 3 million files being withheld. And many of the files, even the ones that they released to Congress, some lawmakers got to go in and see the, in quotes, unredacted files.
Still redacted.
Many of them still were redacted.
I'll be honest, it's hard for me to read through those and find those. I go to the White House page, I go to the .media page, I go to the page.
You're not listening to the question.
You need to go to NBC or MSNBC and get their information.
He's
the
asking
place
you.
they do.
Stop.
He's
You're not listening to the
you.
question. Sorry, Parker,
I think this
go
gets
ahead.
into a point that I was gonna kind of bring up earlier, was that the flat earthers that I would talk to would say that the pic of the moon is fake. In the same way that you dispute the evidence when it's shown to you is the same way that they dispute the evidence when shown to them. So what really is the difference between your view and their view in terms of a reasonable basis? There's actually no difference.
We're 70 years old.
Whatever you feel like.
We're 70 years old and nobody has drove off the edge of the earth yet. That's another fact.
Those flat earthers would claim that like you just haven't heard about it, that the Illuminati and that the people in control and power aren't going to let you hear about those things. The same people that you think were controlling Trump.
It's cult mentality. You're part of a cult, and that is why you believe these things.
You're not part of a fucking cult. You got to be kidding me.
No, because we use reason, we use evidence, we use facts. Like, and seemingly you dispute any of those whenever they don't fit your narrative or fit whatever you want to believe already or what feels good to you.
They're not facts. You make them up as you go along.
Dad, this
we
is
don't.
a fact.
We give you evidence for all of them. We told you where to look. You can look and read through the Epstein files. You can see that they redacted co-conspirators' names.
The earth is flat is refutable.
All right, but you guys are both. I'm sorry, my allergies are going crazy today.
Prove me wrong.
No,
that's based on evidence, right? You judge that based on evidence. But like my point is that whenever we bring up evidence to you, you just say that those are fake statistics.
Wait a minute. You guys have both completely avoided the question. Why is Pam Bondi withholding half of the Epstein files?
She feels like it.
Clearly,
that's bad, right? You don't want them to
but she is legally obligated by the law Donald Trump signed.
Knows more about what's legal for her than you do.
She is legally obligated by the law Donald Trump signed, called the Epstein Transparency Act, to release them all. Only redacting survivors. Only redacting the victims.
Other than Trump. I mean, Trump is not holding this over her. I think it's someone outside of our country. So then you're going to say, okay, so then someone outside our country is guiding him. No, it's people don't want to go to prison.
Okay, let's move on.
I swear,
we've gotten heated up. Hang on.
So Trump and Bondi are protecting PDFs that are our friends. So you're saying that they know people in these files that they want to protect. That's bad enough to say that you shouldn't support them. That's disqualifying, right? If a Democrat did this, I would say that's disqualifying. I wouldn't support them.
Right. The one Republican that said I was never there. And then it shows up, oh, I was there with my family and 4 kids, like what, a year later?
Why haven't they fired him?
Get him out.
Just
get him out.
No, they didn't. Did they fire him?
No, they haven't.
She's talking about his Secretary of Commerce.
They need to.
All around the world, other politicians and other people in high up places that have been named in the Epstein files are either being fired or quitting, trying to disappear. Like, this is what needs to transpire. Donald Trump and Pam Bondi know exactly what's in those files, and they're protecting rapists and pedophiles and potentially murderers. Okay. They know about this shit.
If all the bad stuff in there about Trump that you're saying is and all that, why didn't Biden release it long ago?
We have discussed this.
His administration had this long ago.
Yeah, you've already been through it with your horse crap.
His administration had this long ago. It should have been released then.
How about Barack Hussein Obama?
Or was that
already explained to you why they didn't release
the guy that's married to Big Mike?
At the time that it was... At the time when Biden was in office, it was an active investigation, so they couldn't release any of this stuff. That's how the law works.
Oh, but
and also, there used to be this thing where the executive branch and the DOJ didn't really influence each other much. Now, Trump and Pam Bondi are fucking holding hands, and he's literally giving her commands through Truth Social, and she follows them. Go after Letitia James. Fucking indictment the next week. You
don't think any of Biden's followers that hated Donald Trump so bad knew this information and they could have leaked it and never did? That's the only thing in the back of my brain I'm thinking.
Yeah,
go ahead.
We'll hold accountability to Merrick Garland. We have no issues with doing that. right? Again, but like we do have to understand that there is a difference in terms of the DOJ being independent and how the Harrison Biden weren't directly
He
involved
thinks
with the
the
daily
DOJ
dealings of the DOJ.
wasn't corrupt with Merrick Garland. What
No,
the
he
Well,
hell?
no,
said
I
he
just said
did.
Merrick Garland was bad, right? I actually
He
think he
said
didn't
he
go hard
did. He
enough
was
against
bad.
Trump specifically,
was
especially for the
terrible.
election.
Yeah.
Yes, we agree about that. Yeah.
Okay, we've gotten a little heated up. One thing that we do on this podcast, Parker, is in the middle of it, we have a
He
simmer down.
probably wishes he didn't come.
We're
is-
past the middle
No, I don't
of
mind
it,
doing this.
by
I
the
do these
way.
debates all the time. I'm very used to this.
Okay.
This is a question that we are all going to answer that has nothing to do with politics, but reveals something about our own personalities, our own worldviews. The question this week is, what do you believe is the most important single piece of technology developed in human history? Haley.
Why am I always first?
Mom.
And I literally went and like researched like what are what are the technological advancements like throughout history.
Yeah.
Number one on every fucking list was the printing press.
What?
Interesting.
That was number one on
it's
every
a hard
list.
one to beat. I think I have one
For-
that's more important, but
I don't know. I mean, for me, like my brain today, immediately when I read the question, I was like
Internet.
the fucking internet.
Yeah.
Okay. Phone or computer?
okay.
Telephone, computer.
All of these are communication devices, by the way.
Right.
Communication
Mhm.
technologies. Dad?
Telephone.
Okay. Parker?
I think I would have to go with the internet as well.
Internet.
I will predate all of your inventions. One that without which none of these would exist. It is called the written word. Thank you very much. That is the correct answer. Moving on to our next topic.
Is that the printing press? I guess. No.
The printing press is an evolution of the written word, obviously.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't think we started writing with the printing press. That would have been pretty impressive, though. I've invented language and the printing press on the same day. Okay, let's move on to our next topic, shall we? ICE is leaving Minneapolis this week. Border czar and undercover FBI bribe recipient Tom Homan announced that the federal ICE surge in Minnesota is ending and that the agents will be leaving the state after completing the largest ICE deployment in U.S. history. He said the operation met its goals, citing over 4,000 arrests. He failed to mention the 2 murders that ICE committed in broad daylight without consequence. Tim Waltz said the federal presence inflicted, quote, deep damage and lasting trauma. Jacob Fry said he'll believe the pullback, when he sees it, noting the Trump administration has lied before. And observers in Minneapolis note ICE activity remains visible. Dad, why do you think they're announcing that ICE is leaving the city?
Job well done.
Okay, Mom, you agree with this?
I think there's more help with from the policemen there now, from the state and local people helping them out.
Okay.
They are putting the bad guys in jail and then not letting them out. So less.
Are you both
violence
satisfied then that the Somali fraud you believe was rampant in that
Oh,
city
no,
is
no,
now
no, it's
over?
still-
That's still going on.
That
Okay.
still will continue.
Just making sure.
So then
why are
why,
they
then why
leaving
get rid
then?
of? Yeah, why
Huh?
why get rid of them?
Why are they leaving then?
Who, ICE?
Because
Their job was not there to
the
catch the
Somalians.
Somalians.
I
You
thought
have
it
said on this
was.
podcast a
Stop
million times that's
trying.
why they were there.
No, that's not why they were
for
there.
Yes.
Oh my
illegal immigrants they were catching.
That's why I think they should have went there and stayed.
They said there was over
But
4,000.
that's not why they were sent there.
Over 4,000 now have been arrested. That's what Holman said.
Yeah.
And what's happening too, they're either
The
deporting
administration has not pointed to the Somalia problem as of yet,
or the bad
but
guys.
they're going to. Trust me.
But-
bad guys now are staying in jail because the law officials there are starting to help them.
There's only one way to get rid of the Somalians anyway. You put them in. You give them a dirt nap.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh,
What do you mean
please.
by that?
You know what I mean by that.
Please.
No, just clarify. Just clarify. What do you mean?
Dead.
You want to kill Somali people?
Yes,
He has
Why?
said that before.
because they are the root of all evil.
How?
What do you mean? How?
Yeah, how?
You,
Like, how do you say that
around
about an
during
entire group of
Bangladesh?
people?
No, hell no.
No,
What?
I'm just asking you
You probably
genuinely. How do you
weren't
say that
born
about
yet.
an entire group of people?
Yeah,
Are-
the
You're
ones
Christian, right?
the ones that are in the United States, you damn right I'm against them, and I think they should all be dead.
Okay, well, that's
And
fucking
that has
insane. Just
nothing
letting you
to
know.
do
You
with
just advocated for
Christianity.
genocide, literally. I just
Hey,
want to let you know.
okay, by the way, Christians have been killing Muslims for 100 years.
Okay, so
More
by
than
the way, not
that,
all
actually.
Somali Americans are Muslims, and
1,000
also
years.
just because that's happened historically does not mean that should continue to happen. I guess
No,
I'll ask you
they've
this
been
question:
stealing money
Is it
from
against?
us left and
I
right,
have a
sending
question.
it to
Is
Bangladesh,
is it against
and they're
your
making them
religion?
stronger and
Is it against
stronger.
the Ten Commandments to
What you're
argue just what you
arguing with
argued
me
for?
is retarded.
Okay, stop.
Okay,
No, Dad, listen
listen.
to this question.
Yeah,
Listen.
do you think that your Bible, your commandments tell you
I
to be
don't have a
against that?
Bible. I'm a Catholic.
Yes, you do. You still have a Bible.
No, we do
How about
not.
this?
You
Does
are wrong.
Jesus, does the church
You
tell
are
you?
wrong.
How about
I
this? Does
believe
does
in
the church or the Pope
Catholicism,
say
not
not
the
to do that?
Bible.
Would the church and Pope agree with you?
Well, he's lying.
Okay.
I'm not. Would the
Yeah,
church
yeah,
or the
yeah.
Pope agree with
Dad,
you?
come on. Dad, you have this weird thing that you came up with last week that Catholics, the Bible has no bearing on Catholic
Okay,
faith, which is
smart
like,
ass. I've been a Catholic my entire life. I went to private Catholic school. We never saw a fucking Bible.
He went
So
to
there,
catechism classes.
stick that one up your
Okay,
ass.
how
He went
about
to
you're
your
not a
You
church?
don't believe
Christian.
in the Bible.
Yeah, I don't know why he says no Bible, but
You're not a Christian.
how about Jesus or the church? Right? Would either of them agree with you calling for the deaths of all people who are Somali?
No, No.
Jesus would.
no.
No, Jesus would say, "Love thy neighbor." Jesus would not
No.
say that. Okay,
What?
I'm not even Christian, and I can tell you this. I grew up in a Christian household, and I think that's ridiculous that you say that. My mom, who's Christian, my parents who are Christian,
We
would
don't
think you're
care
insane for
what you
saying
think.
that because this is about basic humanity, right? This is not about anything else. It's about basic humanity. No one
Nobody's
should be
talking
murdered
about
at mass just because of the fact that they are a person, right? Literally of a certain ethnic background.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you're going to get anywhere. He wants, the entire fucking demolition of Gaza, including every man, woman, and child. So
yeah, he has called for genocide on this
You're not
podcast
gonna-
many
yeah,
times. This is
yeah.
not a new thing with him. The newer thing is, though, the idea that the Catholic faith has
Doesn't
no
abide by the
attachment to the
Bible.
Bible. And that one I'm
No,
having a
they're
hard
not
time wrapping
taught
my head around.
Bible.
He's
Okay.
taught.
They're still not being taught out of the Bible ever.
No,
But
they.
do you
during the
think that the
Gospels,
Bible
they
is an
do.
important document in terms of all Christian sects, all Christian denominations?
The Bible has nothing to do with our Catholicism.
Let me tell you where he's coming from. He went
It
to
does.
Catholic school. He was an altar boy every day of the year.
I went to
probably
Mass
from-
every day of my life.
Yeah.
Probably like
Never saw a Bible
14
once.
years. Back in those days,
I'm
they
70 years old. I
did
still
not.
don't know any Catholics
They
that
You're
did
not
preach
not.
the
70.
Bible.
they
You're older
really
than
did not
70.
have a Bible back then when he was taught by the Catholic nuns.
Yeah.
We do have a Catholic Bible in the house. We do.
You
But
bought it.
back in the day, they did not. It's very weird. It's they went on sacraments. They went on
Okay, hang on a minute. Dad, when you would go to Mass, Catholic Mass,
Mhm.
did the priest leading it ever read from the Bible?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
During-
he did not. We have our
Never?
own. We have our own Bible.
Okay.
Or not Bible. We have our own book that has Gospels in it, but they're not from the Bible. They're from the Catholicism book.
Okay, we got to move on. This is absurd.
Well-
Let's move on to our next topic. The grand jury that would not indict the Dems. This week, a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. refused to indict the 6 Democratic lawmakers who appeared in a video urging members of the U.S. military and intelligence community that they must refuse unlawful orders. Despite Trump calling the video seditious, the grand jury heard evidence from Trump's attorneys, but declined to return any indictments. In addition, this week, a federal judge blocked Pete Hegseth's attempt to punish Senator Mark Kelly over the same video,
Already been appealed.
saying his speech is protected by the First Amendment. Mom, do you accept the grand jury's decision to not indict Mark Kelly and these other Democrats?
Yes, but I think his has been appealed. I think it's going to go on with him, but the rest were no.
But you accept it.
No, the appeal is the Pete Hegseth
That's our
thing.
government. Yes.
Okay, well, a federal judge said that Donald Trump sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll, so why don't you believe that?
That was not federal. That was civil.
Okay.
But
That-
just because it's civil isn't a reason to not accept it. Because, for example, 40% of the people undocumented are in the country and they've overstayed a visa, which is a civil violation, not a criminal violation, because they didn't unlawfully enter the country. So, under your view, then you wouldn't say that any of them should be able to be kicked out of the country because they have
To me-
only violated civil law.
Yeah, to me, civil law is much more important. I mean,
Well,
federal.
then-
I mean, federal.
What
Okay.
about his 34 felonies?
So-
We've been over that.
Hang on. I like where Parker's going with this. So you're saying that civil basically is like kind of irrelevant. It's not as significant as
I'm
federal.
not saying irrelevant, but I'm saying federal is the like
Right.
over civil.
So
They,
most
they
of
need
the things.
civil
But do you accept
lawsuits
determinations
need
from
to be
civil
brought
courts?
up and taken to court. And none of these. Where are all these women that have supposedly civil suits?
Well, we're talking about E. Jean Carroll, which she
Yeah,
has held
Yeah,
him
we
liable
know
in a
that.
civil
We're-
court
and
unanimous decision of
and what I'm
9-0.
talking about is Kelly.
What?
He's
Mark
going to
Kelly?
get. They're gonna appeal the judge's overrule, and they're going to win, and he's going to get his ass
No,
kicked out.
they tried to indict them with a grand jury.
He's going
And
to
it
get
failed, which is like
He's-
hard to do. Grand juries usually will indict literally fucking anyone.
Yeah.
There's a
Right.
famous thing about they'll indict a ham sandwich, and
That's
they said
literally
no.
that's what a lawyer told me
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
First of all, that's not every case, but you just assume it applies to everything.
Maybe you should make a prediction to see if this
You
goes
want to talk
on.
about people who just make shit up as they go along? We're with 3 of them.
Okay, so you're not accepting, Dad, the grand jury's decision to not indict them.
Oh, hell no, they're
I
going to
am.
appeal it.
Okay, I am.
Do you then what do you think is the good of a grand jury if lawyers bring their
Most
evidence before a grand jury?
juries in today's world have no purpose.
Okay.
But
they're
today's
all
world is
bullshit.
Trump's world. Trump has
Yeah.
turned it that way because they're trying to seek indictments
fine.
against people like all
I
these
don't
cases
know
that are
what
getting
turned
thrown
it
out.
that way, but that's how it is.
Right.
Okay. Let's move on to
Actually, before we do, can
Sorry,
I run
go ahead.
run that one point again? So
Please.
the point I was making was that you'd have to essentially say that 40% of people who are in the country undocumented should be allowed to stay because they are only violating civil law and not criminal law.
Okay.
Unless you accept the
40% of people
determinations
in
from
this
civil
country
courts.
are undocumented. That's horseshit.
No.
What?
40% of
That's
the undocumented people,
horseshit.
Dad, you're not listening. 40% of the undocumented people in this country are here under civil infraction, that they've basically just overstayed their visa or whatever got
Then
them
they
into the
gotta
country in the first
go.
place.
Okay, but like they violated civil law. So if you accept the determinations from civil courts, then why don't you accept the determination in a civil court against Donald Trump for sexually abusing E. Jean Carroll?
Why do I not accept it? Because it was
Yeah.
all made up and propaganda.
But
Because
there-
it's
but the
against Trump.
So couldn't you say the same
That's
thing
not
for
the
all the
case in-
undocumented
that's not
immigrants?
the case in your 40% of illegals.
Yeah, there's just a mental block. It's the cult shit. It's like Donald Trump can do no wrong.
Yeah,
No matter what you
and-
say, it doesn't
and-
fucking
and-
matter. You can have a federal fucking
And
indictment.
you know
They don't
what,
give a
little
shit.
girl? We'll find out who's right and who's wrong
Little
here in the next 10
girl.
years.
Well,
You-
so let
you
me ask
got-
you this question: like, what piece of evidence would you accept that would determine that Donald Trump has engaged in behaviors like this?
There isn't any evidence you can come up with because he didn't do
Okay.
it.
So that's okay. So when your kids call you cult members, that's why. Like, I'm genuinely being serious right now. I'm trying to talk to you one on one right now. Like, that's why. Because if you're unwilling to accept any reason to justify
like
a
the
certain
three
point
of you,
that to be
just
wrong
like
about your
you.
political position, listen.
I'd
Any point
argue
that's
with
wrong
you
with your
Dad,
political position,
chill. Dad,
that means
listen
you
to
are
what he's
unwilling-
saying.
You are unwilling to hear out other opposing sides, which means that you're stuck in your one belief system and one way of looking at it, and you are unwilling to see
And
any
you're
other
not.
perspective. You
And
think that
you're
you're
not.
right and everyone else is
That's
wrong, and no one else
bullshit.
could possibly be right.
Total bullshit.
Here's the truth. I hear both sides of different things.
I don't hear anything you're saying because you're full of shit.
I mean, this is
Maybe
what
you're
he's
looking in the
talking
mirror
about.
right now
You're
when you said
proving the
that.
point.
It's hard
Maybe
to
you were looking at yourself in
believe-
the camera.
It's hard to believe which side is true when someone says something. Even on facts, are those facts true? Are they not true? Where do you
It's
get your
not.
information? We've talked about this before.
It's
You
not.
know,
When you
is it
see an
AI?
entire when you
I'm all
see
crazy. I'm all crazy about AI. Is it
when you
true?
look at that entire group of women in that courthouse behind Pam Bondi, is it really that hard for you to believe them?
No, I believe them. But you know what? I want them to get the best attorneys to go forward to get the creeps to put him in jail and rot in hell.
Wait,
'Cause it
if you
won't
believe
be
them, why
Trump.
don't you believe the 26 plus women that have accused Donald Trump of sexual misconduct? Why are they all
20
lying?
And there's 26. Why are they lying?
Is that in Epstein
That's
files?
a good question.
No,
Is it in
this isn't in the Epstein
Epstein
files.
files?
These are
Or
people
was
that
that
have
a
accused
lie?
Trump.
For me, you admitting that they're lying. So why are they lying?
Where was
No,
that
I
at?
never said they were lying. I asked you if you think that they're lying. Every single one of
Yes.
them.
Where was those
Every
women?
damn one
Where
of
are
them.
those names? Are those women in the Epstein files?
Why do
No,
they
they're
have
not
to
in the
be-
Epstein files. Yeah, these are women that have accused Donald Trump of sexual misconduct throughout the past 30 plus years, right? Going back into the 80s, where people have accused him of sexual misconduct.
Oh, so it has nothing to do with Epstein.
Yeah, I
Does
wasn't
it
talking about
have
Epstein
to?
right now.
He's
I
also in
wasn't
the
talking about
Epstein
Epstein.
files more than anyone else. There are, I think, very credible allegations in the Epstein files against him for a variety of
You
things,
guys like rolling
including
shit over.
sexually
When
assaulting
you
children.
stack up the amount of times that we have heard Donald Trump's name associated with sexual assault, it's astounding. And so for you to ignore it, I think for us is just incredibly frustrating. Because if it was anyone else, you'd eat it up. But it's Donald Trump, so you fucking
No.
refute.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see it.
I
I
mean,
didn't read that.
literally
I have
how he
told you.
came into
Wait,
the
how do you feel about
American
Donald Trump
political.
saying himself that he bragged about grabbing women by the vagina
Exactly.
without asking?
That's
Because
how he
like, do you
entered
believe him when he says it?
American politics, was
He
with that
said-
quote.
He said that.
I know. I saw that on Billy Bush show. I saw that. It was the
So
Billy
why
Bush
is
show.
it hard for you to acknowledge that all of these accusations could be true?
But saying a statement like that doesn't make him run our country bad or good, maybe. But
Raping women means he shouldn't lead the free
He
fucking
didn't rape
world.
nobody.
Yeah, like that should be a disqualifier for us. That's all we're saying is really like morally speaking, you should be like, okay, maybe I could support other Republicans, but this guy is clearly not the guy that I want to support because he's done behaviors that are so bad. In the same way that like if he did all of the stuff that we're alleging with Epstein, right, you'd be like, oh, I wouldn't support him in that context.
I
So we're
would
just saying
not.
like to
No.
treat. Yeah, so that's all we're saying is that like we have enough evidence to say that we should disqualify him from your support. You could support other Republican policies and other Republicans. Maybe like for example, if you want to support like Thomas Massey, for example, or something, but like it doesn't make sense to support Trump given that there's so much evidence indicating that he's done these horrible things, such as himself
I have
admitting to
told
doing it.
Chad, I have told Chad and Haley on another podcast, if this comes out as true, any of
Which
the
it never will.
allegations that he sexually assaulted children, he is no longer my president, and I will dump his ass.
But there's
Wait, but like
already
with
a
adults.
truth.
When we
There's
say
already-
adults here, like
Well,
he admits it to
adults
himself.
are
I think that's the
are-
smoking gun. He admitted to it himself.
Only took him
Adult
25 years.
is consensual, maybe.
No, he said
but
without
if
asking.
he what?
He
He
bragged
said
about
he would
sexually
grab women by the
assaulting with
vagina
no-
without asking.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You
That's
heard
How
him
do you
say it.
clarify that there's
assault.
consent
I told
if
you
you
I'll
don't
be my
ask?
president if he did it with children and sexually assaulted children, and he will no longer be my
What if
president.
he sexually assaulted women?
Yeah, like adults.
You keep saying children, but he's already been guilty of doing that
Maybe
to a
they
woman.
asked him to.
I need to see it in a file where they went to court and he's in prison for it.
He
Wait,
has been
so-
found guilty in the E. Jean Carroll case. He did go to court. He
That
lost
was
that.
civil. That was civil, right?
So
Okay,
you
then we're
accept the
all back
felonies
into the same
Wait,
arguments
how about
about.
this? Do you accept the
Sorry.
felonies against Trump to be true?
You got 5 minutes.
I don't know. We've talked about this before. All the felonies against him to be true or not. We've talked about it before.
You keep
It
saying
sounds
you
like
don't
no.
trust
So
the court.
So the point that
You know
yeah,
what?
sorry, I don't mean to cut anyone off. The point I'm making is that
losing side. You don't like it.
hold up. So the point I'm making is that he's been criminally convicted of felonies, and seemingly you don't accept it in that situation either. So is it really the difference between a criminal and a civil court that gets you to like not believe it in this context? Because seemingly you
Sometimes,
don't
but
believe the
it's
criminal
also
court
about
either.
Children. It's also about sexually assaulting children. Anybody that has ever done that needs to rot in hell.
Also,
Same thing with women. Yeah. Also when the victims are
men.
women.
Like
Yeah,
sexually
yeah.
assaulting literally fucking anyone makes you
Yes.
sick.
Yes.
Mom,
That's
Yes.
Donald Trump.
Yes.
I want to
That
ask you
is
this.
Donald Trump.
I want
Can
to ask you this question,
one
Mom. Hey,
thing? Okay.
yeah, go ahead, Mom.
Communist cult members.
The part which I don't even know how you do it, but the dark web. What about all that stuff on there? I mean, I can't get on there. I don't
Yeah.
know how to get on there.
Well,
What?
didn't Trump pardon the guy who made
He
the fucking dark
pardoned
web?
him. Yes.
Listen, I want to ask you this, Mom, about Trump in the Epstein files. You believe that almost all of the other allegations, all of the other documents that point at certain public figures, you believe those to be true and credible in the Epstein files, right?
Again, I guess. Yes, I guess
Okay.
so.
So you believe all these other people that are implicated in the Epstein files are implicated for good reason, but Trump
Yeah.
is implicated. Trump is mentioned more than any of those other people.
We've
And for
been
some
over that.
reason, for
I've read
him,
some-
the burden of proof is higher for you. Why is that?
Because he's president of our United States. And I have read some of that, and I've told you, Bank of America he's mentioned. Other banks he's been mentioned. The flight from New York down to Florida, he was mentioned. He was never mentioned to go to Epstein Island. His name was mentioned on different things.
But we did that episode where I literally read you where he is, in quotes, mentioned committing horrific acts against children in the Epstein files, and you're like, well, that was just a tip line. That isn't real. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you disconnect at some point, and you're like,
you always say I never researched. I researched all this stuff about the tip line where it said all of that stuff was done by callers. One maybe caller called in 3 times. Then when they did try to investigate and get a name and say, come in, give us more information, no one came in. Then more on the tip line. It was during the years where right before he wanted to be elected. So some of that, I'd have to throw that out.
Well, things that weren't investigated, for example, was someone who was driving them in I'm pretty sure it was a limo, and he overheard Epstein and them talking about abusing some young girl. Epstein and Trump saying that, and like they never investigated further upon that. So I guess that's a claim that you could say that hasn't been investigated further upon, that hasn't been disputed in there. And also one thing I would say is that if they haven't released most of the files, all of the most incriminating stuff has yet to be released. So I would expect them to release some stuff that they could try to find a way to dispute right away with FBI tips, where specifically someone did put an FBI tip where they were able to like show that wasn't the case or something, right? Because of the fact that someone was under a psychotic break, for example. That's expected that they would put it under this drop to make people think that it's ridiculous and absurd. And then all the rest of the incriminating stuff still has yet to be released. And they're trying to act like it's been completely released so that we don't have to ever release them.
Yes, I hope there is more and it's all credible. And like in the limousine, if we get the name of that person, whatever, they need to come forward. Come forward.
They have come forward. They told the FBI, and now they're not investigating it. That's the whole point of this.
Do we have a name? They need to get an attorney.
My God.
You ain't got shit.
Okay, Dad, you were trying to interrupt Parker there and kind of mumbling under your breath. What were you saying?
I'm tired of it.
Cool.
Please be nice. Please be nice. God.
I mean, I'm talking to 3 cult communists.
What cult do you think we're in? What God do we pray to in our cult?
You're in a cult of communism.
Who's our cult leader? Who's our cult leader?
You're all liberals.
So we're all not communists and we all are liberals, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all
communist, liberal cult members who pray to no God. Okay, well.
First of all, I'm not going to debate somebody who probably wasn't even alive when 90% of this shit happened.
What does that have to do with anything?
He's more knowledgeable in his 23 years of life than you are.
Oh, you think?
I do.
Yeah, wait. You want to test that?
Oh, yes. What's the test, Dad?
I don't have to have a test. I'm 70 years old. I know a lot more about life than
I'm saying, what do you have a question or something? Do you have something that could convince you that Parker knows his shit?
I'm going to tell you about the economic policies of each administration and explain to you why one side is better than
what was the Vietnam War all about?
Okay, well, from the American side, it was to limit the expansion of communism around the world, or ideologically communism around the world.
Oh, boy.
Who was it against?
What about LBJ and the oil?
Give me a name.
The Viet Cong and the Soviet Union and China specifically expanding their spheres of influence in terms of communistic ideology.
Tell me who in North Vietnam started the war in South Vietnam. And I want a name of an individual who
I'm not going to know
North
them off the top of my head.
He said he doesn't.
Do you know the name of the person who started World War I?
Be nice.
Ho Chi Minh.
Wait, I have a question. Do you know the name of the person who started World War I?
That was a German. Would have been Kaiser.
No, so it was an Austrian specifically, right? That led to it. There was with Ferdinand, I think the name was Archduke Ferdinand. Was specifically that led to that. I might be misremembering that, but the point I'm making is that just because you don't remember one person's name from a historical point doesn't mean that you can't bring anything to the table in terms of legitimate information.
The Vietnam War.
Okay, hold up. I don't know one person's name in the Vietnam War, therefore he can dispute everything that I've ever said.
This is absurd.
By the way, I didn't get a degree in history. I got a degree in economics.
You don't run your fucking mouth again. Bob, what I'm pointing out is you don't know specifics of shit.
Okay. Really? I do. I want to bet on that. How about this? How many people are in the House of Representatives?
425.
35. You're close. You were close, though. How many continents are there?
How many what?
How many continents are there?
Oh, my God. This is like Nick Vial.
How many continents are there?
continents.
Don't know that.
Don't know that.
All right.
There's 7 continents.
There's one. It's flat. Listen, we can do
You're-
this kind of
I'm
like
glad
back and
you're
forth, who
here.
knows
I'm
what about
sorry.
facts and playing Jeopardy and
sorry.
stuff,
Oh,
but it
no,
doesn't
next
matter.
time you bring somebody in,
It's
you'll
just
make it
stop.
credible.
It's absurd because Parker literally makes a living doing
Yes.
this. Okay,
He's a
it's
cat.
what he does. So to kind of minimize how smart he is
But
awful.
that's the final kind of like step of your debate here. I think that like Parker has made some very good points. He has presented evidence. He's presented evidence against even your style of debate or your style of kind of logic, your style of reason that you flounder with, at least in this episode. There were a couple of times where you were both just like staring into space after he'd ask a question because you had no answer.
No, I
and
was
now your
doing that on
final
purpose.
strategy in debate is to try and undermine his credibility by
I
saying,
was staring into
tell me some weird
space
random
on
fact, you know.
purpose.
Yeah, like ironically, I think what you've actually demonstrated in this podcast is immaturity in being able to deal with political disagreements, because you can't take into account any other perspective other than your own. And when someone else, even someone who's younger than you can't take into
Oh,
account the
is
fact
that
that
right?
maybe they could know something that you possibly
You
don't
talk
know,
about
or maybe they could
political
teach you about something that
immaturity.
possibly you don't
You're
know.
the one
And I think that's an
showing the
immaturity that
immaturity
allows
here.
for you to not get into
You have
disagreements that
immature
allow for you to
debate
like then
skills,
change your
son.
mind. And that's why you're cutting me off right now instead of letting me actually speak and listening and trying to hear me out. You do the same thing with your kids as
I've
well.
been
Like you
listening
don't
to
listen to
the
them
same
because
shit
of their
for an
age.
hour.
You completely disregard what they have to say because of their liberal beliefs, and you don't take into account anything they have to think because it's opposing to what you think already, which is immature in terms of your ability to
Are
disagree
you
with
gonna
people and
shut
your
up
ability to
at
change your
any
mind.
point, Steve?
And
It's
even
right
that,
though. It's right though. You guys
Yes.
have a tendency to just drown us out because we're your kids and you don't perceive us to be intelligent in any fucking
Well, he
regard.
ain't any better. Trust me.
No, you are brilliant. Okay,
But like,
don't
have you had the time to
listen.
be able to identify that? Like you didn't look into who I am. You didn't have the ability to identify that. We haven't talked about, the policies of each administration
Oh
or
my
why you
God.
support each
Well,
candidate.
your time's up
And you're going to
anyway,
make that
so
determination
shut the
based upon the
pie
fact that I'm
hole.
liberal and young.
I didn't know that you were going to be on the show. I would have Googled you and found out more.
I literally.
By the way, I'm
feel
actually not
like
saying it's about
I
you. I'm
feel
only
like
saying it's
this
about the
is
dad. Like,
three
I think that you've
against
shown that you
four.
can
Okay,
engage with
said-
beliefs more. Like, I just want to be clear. Like, I think that you can engage with beliefs more. I genuinely think there's a productive debate with you. I'm saying this is specifically true about the dad. I think you genuinely have showed that you want to change your mind to some
No,
degree and you
you
want to look into things and you want to do research. Now, we might not be able to change your mind right away, but it does seem like you're at least somewhat engaging in good faith, right? Like, that's my point there. I don't want to like
Yes.
be like you're
All
doing
right,
bad or
it's 5
bad there.
after,
But the
Chad.
dad
Shut
is like
him up and
actually
get it
100% unwilling to engage in any dialogue at all, or hear from anyone who's younger than him, or hear from anyone who specifically disagrees with him.
Mhm.
This is 100% accurate.
Yes.
Well, Parker, thank you so much for joining us. We have
Thank you
come
so much
to
for
the
having
end
me.
of our show. At the end of our
Yeah.
show, despite all of our political differences and some people in this podcast's inability to even see other people potentially as human, we do tell each other that we love each other, because I do think it is an important thing, and kind of part of the title of this podcast, The Necessary Conversation, is that we do have to find some way to come back together after this crazy division that now exists in America has been generated by Trump. So we all tell each other that we love each other. Mom, I love you. Thank you for doing this. Sorry that I did put in the email that Parker was going to be on the show today, and
I
put a link to his
read-
social
I
media so you
didn't
could
get to the
check him
email.
out.
It's been a long week. I didn't read the email.
Okay,
I
my
apologize.
apologies on that one. Dad, I do love you despite the fact that you seem to hate us all. Haley, I love you. Thank you for being here. And Parker, I love you. Thank you for coming on the show today. It has been a true pleasure.
Thank
I
you so
love
much. It was
you,
great
Dad.
meeting all of you. Nice
I love
meeting you,
you,
Haley. Nice
Haley.
meeting you, Chad. Nice meeting you, Mom, as well.
Thank you, Parker.
Mom, I
coming.
love you. Dad, I love you. Chad, I love you. Parker, been following you for a long time. I think you're awesome, especially as a 23-year-old in this world. I think what you do is actually incredible. I think your voice is very important for the younger generation, and I'm fucking thrilled that you're here. So thank you. Thanks for coming on, enduring, and chatting with our family. I think every time we have a guest, I think it kind of opens up certainly my mom's eyes a little bit, to hear another perspective from someone else. So I'm appreciative. Thank you very much.
Of course. I really appreciate it. Seriously, it was an incredible conversation, and to be able to see all, like, I really appreciate your work. So thank you, both of you, Chad and Haley. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to end it.
Love Mary Lou,
Oh.
and I love the 2 communist kids.
Okay.
And
What
thanks,
about Parker?
Don't love Parker.
He doesn't love me. He doesn't love me.
We're not to love yet. We're getting there.
I'm not even
right.
to dislike.
Mr.
Oh,
Piper
God.
is a little bit nicer.
Wait, so are you
Piper is
indifferent
nice.
or do you hate me?
No, we don't hate you.
Oh, I do.
No, he doesn't.
No, no.
What?
Mom, you always lean off camera and like give him dirty looks. Just give him the dirty look on the camera. Just let us see the dirty look.
When he's rude to people. I don't
Okay.
want him to be rude to Parker. Thank you, Parker, for coming on.
It was nice meeting you, Mary
Telling
Lou.
him thank you. Shit.
Okay.
What is wrong with you today?
Nothing. Same old
Damn.
bird.